Happy Tuesday, everybody. It has been a long day at the homeschool co-op today, but we've got great news. Uncle Cliff put out an amazing tweet. He said, "You are here. The time is now." Grayscale got their ETF. I know people have a lot of mixed feelings about that, but that should send Bitcoin soaring to the moon. So the time is now. You made it. You made it through that crypto winter. So we've got Satoshi Sean with us here today on a Truth Tuesday. We'll be right back. Give us a like, share the video. We'll be talking about that and lots of other things, some wild stuff going on with the banks, which is to be expected right after this. Hey, Sean, we've got some great news today. I got out of school, homeschool co-op. Cannon made it the whole day without a migraine, and we had an amazing day. This is our third year at homeschooling. I never, ever, after 5 children in public school, thought I would be homeschooling my youngest, but here I am. And it's been a great experience. We have a really great group, and it's been a great experience for Cannon and I together. But we made it through the whole day, and he was very confident. This afternoon, it's been great watching him like grow and learn and be more confident in his homeschool experience or his school experience. So we have like co-op once a week where we get our like curriculum that then we work on throughout the week. And then once a month we go do ice cream with the whole crew at Brahms. So I apologize for being late, but thanks for waiting on us. And I saw that Uncle Cliff tweeted out that Grayscale got approved for ETF. And he is like, hold on, buckle up. Here we go. Crypto winter is over. Big money should be flooding in. So do you think that means big manipulation also? Will they smash the price down? Will the price rise because the big money's coming in, so they'll let it go up? What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think the winter is over. I think there'd be some manipulation. I think they're going to probably take some money from some dumb money from people that do. I think we would follow the pattern. I think it's not going to end up, I think you got a couple months still in the winter to accumulate. I hope so, because I'm not ready for the run yet, which is kind of what I want to go to when we go over to my channel. What I'm going to start doing, I'm going to get.
I just think everybody is spent at this point. Like everyone in America is living. I read something the other day that people are living. I don't know if it was 20 or 30% of their budget is overspent on credit cards. Like people can't even make their monthly expenses.
Yeah, but it's been like that for a long time. My best friend.
I heard it is way worse.
One of the most fiscally responsible people in the world. Has
I thought I was your best friend. Wait a minute.
Technically, I told you that my current best friend.
Okay.
My oldest best friend, my best friend that I named my kid after and all. He has a credit card that's got 50 grand on it. And I'm like, how do you do that? He goes, just, it's like you buy this here, you do that there. It just adds up. And so everyone does that. Everyone gets a credit card and they get it maxed, and then they get another credit card. Not many people pay it all off like they say they're going to do. So, but we've been used to that. What I've noticed, what we're used to, because I've been out of the loop for like almost 2 months, being in the hospital and all. But the way we accept the like massive poverty, like all the homeless people everywhere, people are getting to where it's kind of like, oh, that's sad, but it's like a stray dog. It's not shocking anymore. I was watching this thing where every week the police, and then like these like 2 maids, 2 cops, and then a guy in like a hazmat suit. They got to go around to all the public bathrooms around, like, in Santa Monica and all the beaches, and there's homeless people living in the tiny stalls. I mean, they have like a bike in there put on top of the toilet. They're, and they lock the door because they have locks. So literally they go in there, lock the door, and they live there. Nobody can use bathrooms on the beach anymore because there are people that
It's
are.
like a tiny home.
But yeah, but it's ridiculous. Like, you can't lay down. It's it's like 3 feet by 3 feet. It's super tiny, and it's just terrible. And they go and they kick everybody out of where they're at. They clean up and throw stuff away, and it's every week. And
That's
then,
like a couple of public bathrooms. That's not general America. That's not the norm.
but that's
I will say that I did
it's
an
becoming that way.
interview
It is that way in every city, and it's like,
in large cities, which is not the majority of America. That is
no, but
very
you see, it's getting there. If you're like, once a town is a certain size, you have homeless people. Like Killeen, there's homeless people at certain places. There's homeless shelters everywhere. I'm sure you got a homeless shelter where you live. So it's growing. What the main plan is for them to kill the middle class.
They already have. I will agree with you on that. I did an interview with Reggie on the Very Dow channel yesterday, and we posted it last night. And he did say that, the middle class is dead. There are two classes. There is the working class and there is the elites.
Right.
And
See,
I do believe that
class is dying out even, and we're getting this massive poverty, basically living on the street. It's becoming a class. There's so many of them. It's not like a handful. It's a lot of people. And like in Japan, they have no homeless people, but they do have homeless people. But they have shame there, and we have done away with shame. But it's a very like, society will outcast you if you're homeless. So they have these hotels that you can rent for an hour. So these people go there, they shower, they clean, they sleep for 3 to 4 hours, and then they're out. Or so they're still on the street, but they're clean. They're because it's their culture is that way. It's really, really interesting how we've done certain things, and we made it acceptable, and now it's like a choice. Like, to me, it's not a choice. Like, I don't care if I have had no money, and I would go to a friend. I would swallow my pride. Like, it's not in my mind to go to the park and just sleep on a bench.
Right. I think a lot of us have been there at different points in our life. When I was a kid, I would say in college, but sometimes I couldn't afford to go to college. I'd be in between taking classes, but I'd be working jobs or whatever. And you might be sharing rent with a friend or paying for, splitting bills with a friend and sleeping on a couch or whatever. I mean, I feel like most people have been through those times, of going through hard times. I think that builds character, and that's part of like letting you appreciate times in your life where you have worked hard and you've, made sacrifices during other times to have some security later on. But now we're in this situation where we have made lots of sacrifices and we have worked hard and we are in this uncertainty. And that's because of choices that were made outside of our control. Spending outside of our control and devaluing the dollar that's in our accounts or in our savings. And that's the part that's so frustrating,
Also,
I think, to so many
I
Americans.
think our way of thinking is different, which is fucked up. Because, like, to me, you sleeping on a bench in the park is completely unacceptable. Period. Like, I don't care who you are. If you're someone I hate, and we literally hate each other, if you came to my doors like, hey, I'm gonna have to sleep in the park, I'd be like, I fucking hate you. I don't, you're such an asshole. You can sleep in the couch over here. You could sleep in my truck. You could sleep on a pile of clothes in my laundry room. Something. but I'm not going to make the person go sleep in the elements. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't want to know you're here because I hate you so much, but I wouldn't do it. It's not okay.
It's not human.
I think
Yeah.
that
For a human to be unsafe.
a lot of people think,
Yeah.
oh, it's it's just you're just one of those people now. Sorry, but it's
Yeah.
I don't
No
know.
human is less than. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I had some more news that I wanted to share that I had some of my friends at the Very Dow were sharing that there were some announcements that, we were hearing earlier previously that some of the banks were being downgraded or on the verge of being downgraded. And people were like, oh, those are just threats, that hasn't actually happened. Well, then on the threat of being downgraded, now Wells Fargo and Truist banks are now limiting cash withdrawals for their clients or depositors. So if you are a Wells Fargo or a Truist Bank client or depositor, you might,
Or your mortgage is Wells Fargo.
you might kind of take note of that and
Because they sold my mortgage
make a
while I
plan.
was in the hospital. Wells Fargo sold my mortgage.
Terrible.
It just didn't come out of my bank account, and I was like, "What's going on?" And when I got out of the hospital, I got a letter from XYZ Mortgage Company. It's not even like Chase or another. It's not like the big boys are bouncing stuff back and forth. It's just some like American mortgage, and it's like got an eagle. And they're like, "We have your mortgage now. You pay us." And they were like, "As of August 1st, you have to pay us the mortgage, and or else you're behind." And it was dated August 9th, and I got it on August 20th. Like, and so now I'm behind, and I got my bill, and I'm a month. It's for 2 months of the mortgage, and I technically, I guess, I've missed my first mortgage. Because it was the first one with the same company.
Which I wonder what the law is on that, because you did not make a legal binding agreement with that new company. You made an agreement with whoever the mortgage company was that
Yeah,
you
but
made an
it's hard.
agreement with.
You can buy and sell debt all the time. They do it all the time.
So that must have been in the contract that you
Yeah,
signed
it,
with
like
the mortgage agreement
a
or
lot,
mortgage company that you.
a lot of people will make money on that because a company will write it off. Like it's like super old debt, and they'll sell it for like a nickel on the dollar. So you can go buy a bunch of debt, and you only have to get like 1 out of 100, and you'll make your money back. And that's where bill collectors would start. That's why you if you have a bill collector, it's a bill collector. It's not the actual company, because they buy all this debt for pennies on the dollar, and then they threaten the shit out of you. So if one or two or three or people out of 100, they're making tons of money because they buy that debt so cheap. But this isn't. I mean, it's legitimately. I think it really tells. We were talking about it. If you're behind on money, you sell your stuff, and this is it's like a rental property. If you look at it that way, they're getting
Okay.
monthly payments, and they have a guarantee. I've never missed a payment in like 15 years. They know that my debt is good. They're going to get like clockwork.
Right.
Every 2 weeks, they're getting a payment out of my account. But if they need money, they'll sell the mortgage for a big amount of money, because they need money now. They need money right now, whatever it's for. Maybe it's to buy a bunch of Bitcoin when they mess with the price. Maybe they're going to buy a bunch of gold. But they have to have capital now that they don't have. And that's why they would sell a good mortgage. Because they're going to, instead of getting, $800 a month, they're getting 50 grand.
The capital up front
Yeah,
to go invest in something that they see as better.
Yeah. Like if you win a court case, or they're like, okay, you won $1 million, but you're going to get $50,000 a year for the next 20 years. And there's, lots of companies that are like, we'll give you $500,000 right now, and they'll buy that annuity from they'll get that from you. They're going to make, they have a definite guaranteed profit, but you want that money now. You want to be able to buy a house, do all this other stuff. So you take the upfront money.
The upfront instead.
And people do. Remember that commercial that J.G. Wentworth? I want it now. It's your money. You want it now. It's like a very common thing. So I think these banks, if they're selling good debt that they're making money on every month, and I never missed a payment in 15 years, obviously
that's very telling.
That capital, yeah.
Yeah. So if that's a trend, I'm curious if that's a trend. If other people are seeing their mortgages being sold right now.
Well, it is, because you just said if they're limiting the amount of money people can take from them.
Yeah.
They're trying to get as much money as they can now by selling good debt that they're making money on every month, but they're trying to get that bulk money. There's some kind of plan to do something. 877 cash now. Yeah. Clint remembers it. That's the number for J.G. Wentworth.
Oh, well, we're not advertising for them. Okay. Interesting. So this may be like a capital or cash grab for
or
the
a precious metal grab. I mean,
or precious metals grab, or like
what they're going to do with the CBDC, we don't know. They're all evil, terrible entities. You know, they're doing something
like a liquidation of assets to transition to something else.
Or if they know that the BRICS dollar is backed by real money, gold or whatever,
then they're getting out of their U.S.
that it could crush them. They're like, we have to get as much money as we can and buy, or else we're going to be obsolete. I don't know, but there's something that they're doing.
There's a there.
Yeah, there's too many things that they're doing that they're preparing for something. They're preparing for something now.
They're preparing for something now.
Because limiting people, I mean, that's how bank runs start.
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
That is, and you see it in every country. We saw it in Nigeria. We saw people freaking out about not being able to get their cash withdrawals. We saw it in Australia. It starts with them limiting. Remember the lines at the ATMs? And I thought, do you people really think there's that many paper dollars in that little bitty ATM? Like, how big you think that thing is? But you saw it. We saw it all over. And then the banks started closing. Yeah. Maybe we're close. Maybe we're closer than we thought.
I heard something interesting. Prigozhin.
Yeah, supposedly. I don't know.
Allegedly. I have heard through grapevines that he had like the 7th largest wallet or 12th largest, I gotta look it up, of Bitcoin. That he, let me look it up. A friend of mine had heard it from some people. But I thought that was very telling. 5th largest. He's a billionaire. I mean, he is a billionaire, so that's, tracks. But the 5th largest Bitcoin wallet in the world. Geez, I didn't know that high. But I said that he is like he's an old guy high up in the Russian government, right? If he has that much Bitcoin, I thought that was very telling of what the hierarchy of the Russian government is into, what they know about, what their trajectory is. Like, if you look at our upper echelon of the government, it's stock scandals, it's traditional shit. They don't know what any kind of technology is. They're idiots. And a lot of it is people say they're too old. That most of Congress is over 70 years old, and they're just out of touch.
Right.
the Russian government's not that different. They're a bunch of old dudes too. But if those old dudes are focused on Bitcoin and on I think that's a much more big deal about the trajectory of where Russia is going financially versus where we're at. And they're, the East is just embracing new tech, and we are stifling it. I don't know if you saw what the Congress was talking to the SEC about that they've literally like turned their back on what their charter was supposed to do. They were supposed to facilitate growth in the financial sector, and make things easier for companies to flourish. And through this like over regulation, they're killing innovation. They're killing.
Absolutely. They're.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely running innovation out of the United States. They are supposed to be looking out. I mean, there's a, oh gosh, there was a time where I was like quoting this one federal statute. I'll have to look it up again. But there's this one law or act that you could actually possibly say that they could be violating, where it's about stifling innovation in America. That they I almost had it. I'll try to look it up again.
Someone should
oh darn it.
Should file a class action lawsuit about the qualified investor, because it literally is unconstitutional.
The ICANN has Nick Morgan with ICANN has filed, the group at ICANN has filed something about the accredited investor and said that's unconstitutional, and they've been pursuing that. So I believe
it's funny you use the word pursue, because it literally you have the right to push to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and limiting people's opportunity into what they can invest in. You're thwarting their pursuit of happiness.
I feel like they did win that, or they got some ground on that. I'll follow up with Nick on that. But there was another thing. Is it the Hogan? No, I'm thinking of Jeremy Hogan. The Logan Act? No. Oh gosh, I cannot remember. I'll think of it, you guys. I'm sorry. There is a law about stifling innovation in America. Dang it.
Here it is. Here it is. I want to read this to you, or I can send this to you. You can bring it up.
What are you sending me?
This is the SEC's charter and their mission statement. And it's hilarious. There you go. You can bring it up on screen. I'll read it.
Private. Okay. It'll take me a minute.
This is what you think of when you think of the SEC.
No, they're hypocrites.
There we go. At the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, we work together to make a positive impact on the U.S. economy, our capital markets, and people's lives. Since our founding in 1934, at the height of the Great Depression, we have stayed true to our mission of, here we go, protecting investors, maintaining fair, orderly, and efficient markets. No. And here's the thing that they say that they're not doing: facilitating capital formation. And that is what Congress is saying that they have went against their mission and their charter, because they have actually made it more difficult for capital formation. They have made it harder for someone to start up a company. They've made it harder for someone to enter the market. They were like, you can see, there's data. It's just like there were so many companies that went public, and this year, less this year. It's like every year, every single sector, the growth is dwindling, and it's directly related to them regulating the crap out of everybody. And that's what they're supposed to facilitate capital formation. and they're not doing it. So hopefully they either get spanked and gutted, or I think they should be just a whole new agency formed, and then them shut down. I mean, they'd have to start the agency and then shift over. You couldn't just shut it down and then start one. You'd have to start one and then transition. But it didn't work. It obviously doesn't work.
Oh, I'm trying to find that law. It's something about stifling innovation. I'm going to go crazy till I find it. Why don't we jump over to your channel? I'll dig around on it and see if I can find it. I'll post it in the comments, or we'll talk about it next time.
See y'all. Remember to hit the like button, and I'll see you on my channel.
We'll see you guys over on Sean's. Thanks for joining us here, and keep your chin up. It's in the fight, but we're winning, and the truth will get there. It's a good sign to see, the banks moving things around and being so obvious about it too. So see you guys next time here on The New Normal. Take care.